What if some of the smartest people you know don't look smart at first? Not because they're pretending, not because they're hiding it, but because intelligence doesn't always show up in the way most people expect. A lot of people think extremely high IQ means straight A's, fast answers, perfect memory, or speaking in a super polished way. But in real life, high intelligence often looks much stranger than that. It can show up in quiet habits, in unusual routines, in the way someone thinks, reacts, or even spends time alone. And that's exactly what this video is about. Today, we're looking at 5 rare habits only people with extremely high IQ tend to have. Habits most people overlook, misunderstand, or completely miss. Some of these may sound unusual. Some may even sound negative at first. But by the end of this video, you may realize that what looks weird from the outside is sometimes just a very advanced mind working in its own way. Let's get into it. One of the most common habits among extremely intelligent people is that they spend a huge amount of time thinking. Not just thinking in the casual sense, I mean deep, internal, continuous thought. They replay conversations. They analyze situations. They imagine outcomes. They connect ideas. They question assumptions. They think about things other people would never bother to think about. To someone else, this might look like overthinking. But for a highly intelligent person, this is often just their natural mental environment. Their mind is rarely empty. It is constantly processing. This can be exhausting, but it also gives them an advantage. While other people may react quickly and move on, the high IQ person is usually working through layers of meaning, consequence, and possibility in the background. That's why they may seem quiet, distant, or detached at times. They're not necessarily disengaged. They're often deeply active inside their own mind. And in many cases, this habit is one of the clearest signs that someone's cognitive processing is unusually strong. People with extremely high IQ often struggle with boredom more than others. They are usually not satisfied with repetitive tasks, shallow conversations, or environments that don't challenge them mentally. If something is too simple, too predictable, or too slow, their brain starts to lose interest almost immediately. This is not laziness. In fact, it can be the opposite. Their mind wants stimulation, complexity, novelty, and depth. That's why many highly intelligent people seem to jump from idea to idea, hobby to hobby, or project to project. They are not always inconsistent. Sometimes they are just mentally underfed. A boring environment can feel almost painful to them. And because of that, they often create their own stimulation by learning, questioning, building, observing, or imagining. If you've ever noticed that some people seem to need constant intellectual movement just to feel alive, that can be a sign of very high cognitive ability. Another rare habit of extremely intelligent people is that they notice details most people never see. This can be tiny patterns in behavior, subtle changes in tone, hidden inconsistencies, environmental details, or relationships between things that others treat as unrelated. They may walk into a room and instantly pick up on the mood,
They may hear someone say one thing and realize they actually mean something else. They may spot a flaw in a system before anyone else even sees the system as a problem. This habit often makes them seem observant, intuitive, or even suspicious. But really, their brain is just scanning more information than average and making faster connections between pieces of it. Some of the most intelligent people are not the loudest in the room. They are the ones quietly noticing what everyone else missed. This ability can be incredibly useful in problem solving, creativity, strategy, and decision making. But it can also be socially exhausting because once you notice too much, it becomes hard to unsee it.
Extremely high IQ individuals often have a built-in habit of questioning assumptions. They don't just accept something because that's how it is. They want to know why it works, whether it really makes sense, and whether there is a better explanation. This can show up in almost every area of life: social rules, traditions, authority, opinions, trends, even their own beliefs. They are often uncomfortable with blind acceptance. This doesn't always mean they are rebellious. Sometimes it simply means their brain is wired to test the structure behind ideas. Many people move through life by trusting what they were told. Highly intelligent people tend to ask, but is it actually true? That habit can make them seem difficult, argumentative, or intense. But in reality, it often reflects a mind that refuses to stop at surface level answers. And in many cases, that refusal to accept things blindly is exactly what allows them to see deeper truths that others miss.
This is one of the clearest signs of very high intelligence. They usually care more about depth than social performance. They may not be interested in impressing people. They may not enjoy small talk. They may not feel motivated by status, popularity, or appearing impressive. Instead, they want real conversation, real understanding, and real connection. They often prefer one meaningful discussion over 10 superficial ones. This habit can make them seem selective, private, or even awkward in social settings. But it's not necessarily because they lack social ability. It's because they value substance over performance. For many of them, fake enthusiasm, empty conversation, and social games feel pointless. They would rather go deep with one person than stay shallow with a crowd. This preference for depth is often overlooked because people assume intelligence is about talking fast or sounding smart. But sometimes the smartest people are the ones who care least about looking smart. They are too busy understanding things deeply.
When you look at these 5 habits together, a pattern starts to appear. Extremely high IQ does not always look flashy. It often looks private. It often looks quiet. It often looks strange. And sometimes it looks like a set of habits that other people misunderstand completely. Spending time in their own head, getting bored easily, noticing what others ignore, questioning what others accept, preferring depth over popularity. These are not random behaviors. They often reflect a mind that processes the world differently, more deeply, more critically, and more intensely than average.
Of course, not everyone who has these habits has extremely high IQ, and not every highly intelligent person has all five. But when several of these patterns show up together, they can point to a very unusual way of thinking. So, if you recognize yourself in some of these habits, don't rush to label them as problems. What looks like overthinking may actually be deep processing. What looks like boredom may actually be a need for challenge. What looks like distance may actually be observation. What looks like stubborn questioning may actually be sharp reasoning. And what looks like social disinterest may actually be a preference for meaning over noise. The truth is, extremely intelligent people are often misunderstood because their minds do not always operate in the most obvious way. And that's exactly why these habits matter. They may be rare, they may be subtle, and most people may miss them entirely. But once you know what to look for, they become a lot easier to recognize. If this video resonated with you, you may want to ask yourself one simple question. Are these habits signs of intelligence or signs of a mind that was never meant to think like everyone else? So maybe high intelligence doesn't always look like what people expect. Sometimes it shows up in quiet habits, strange routines, and the way someone sees the world. And if you recognized yourself in these signs, make sure to subscribe to Psychology for Dummies. Hit the like button and stay tuned for more videos that help you understand the mind a little better.